drink and pour, let's bolt the door and build a fire together. Kids come out today, they'll frighten old Jack Frost away.
Are you here for yourself, or are you here for working for a company? So you're working for a corporation, you're working for the Herald Express. So I'm telling you, as a worker for the Herald Express, that you understand that you're either a human being talking to me, or you're a person. Now, do you understand the difference? You're either a corporation or you're a living being. I see you as a living being all the time. All the time. But people sometimes don't know when they're doing it. Like a judge, for example, he knows he's sitting there working for the corporation. When he's asked if he's on his oath, it's, oh dear, I've got to be me now, because I've been given all these people's love to be a judge. Instead of, 80 quid, drunk, blah de blah, just bring it in for the corporation. Suddenly somebody says, are you on your oath? Now, those judges, the magistrates, actually, it was interesting. Do you want to look at what happened in the court? The way I saw it. I refused to go in the dock. One of the reasons is because the dock is, as it is, it's a dock. It's where a ship comes in and it's berthed. And that is where maritime law grabs hold of you and squeezes you to death. Right? Common law is out of the window. The oath brings back common law. And they hate common law. Because common law says, I will do no harm,
I think,
I will do no
Max,
damage.
what you just said, what you just said about the dock would be interesting, because if you come out of the holding area up at the magistrates' court, right, which a lot of people do every day, they are automatically taken into the dock.
Straight into the dock.
Now, once you're in the dock,
can I explain?
Yeah.
In law, legal world, anything with four corners, anything inside four corners, you look at your census form, see how many four corner boxes there are. Anything within those boxes is fiction. Anything and everything is fiction. That's the legal world. That's how they work.
that's how they cover themselves.
Now they haven't taught. We haven't learned this. May I ask you a daft question? How many hours of religion did you get at school? Lots, though. I mean, quite a few. How many hours of law did you get?
Yeah, they are.
Why is that then? Okay. If you actually stop and learn a bit about law, which I've only done with law dictionaries and looking at cases and stuff, and I mean the law dictionary is good enough. You open a law dictionary, you look at a word, and you think, God, I didn't realise it meant that. Startling and you realise it's another language. They're not speaking English. They're speaking legalese, and we think legalese is a joke. No. It's a language, and they've got copyright on it.
Official language of the Law Society.
That's correct. It's the official language of the Law Society, and the Law Society runs the whole show from London, which is not a part. The City of London is not a part of England. It's a separate.
There's
private.
a lot there. Jenna's taken an awful lot here.
I know. But
It's an awful lot to
she
learn,
can take
yeah.
it. It's a private land. It's a complete land outside of London, outside of England.
In the same way the Vatican City is.
Same as the Vatican, and Washington's the same. It's the three big cities in the world: Vatican, London, and Washington. And they've been controlling the show for a very long time. A very long time. And we are taught from this age. Taught. That's a great word. Do you know what taught is in law? T-O-R-T. We're taught words. Yeah, but the spellings, it's like birth and birth. When you're born, they say your mother gave birth. No. Your mother bore you. Didn't give birth. She didn't give you a place to rest in the world where you could be tied up and enslaved, which is what I've done.
You see.
Because it's the way I wanted to hear from the mouth of the judge that there was no treason apparent in the land, and I didn't hear it. How's that?
That is to say, he did not give his oath.
That's right.
And
Well, none of them did.
we didn't stand up because I asked the judge 3 times and a 4th time as he was walking out the door, "Are you on your oath, sir? Are you operating on your oath, sir? Are you operating on your oath in this court? Are you operating on your oath?" As he walked out the door, he would not reply. He was very angry we didn't stand up, but I didn't stand up because I cannot respect a person who is giving me the impression giving me the impression he is a judge or a magistrate
But he's not.
when he's not prepared to give his oath. So to me, that is an impersonation of a magistrate.
Which is, I believe, what I said in court.
Mm.
I actually said, that was a very interesting reaction from him.
Without an oath, a magistrate or a judge is impersonating his office.
When I said to the judge, he wasn't even a judge, he's a magistrate, I said to them, they were sitting there, and I said, if you don't give me your oath, I can only assume that you are imposters. And he lifted his head up and looked at me, and I said, are you impersonating court officers? And he went, what? What? And it was quite an extraordinary outburst, actually. And then they decided to just ignore me and just carry on with business, because it's a business.
It's a private business, the court.
You know, Reliance, I don't know if they're part of Serco, but have a look at how big Serco is. Not a small company, you know, Serco. Did you know they own our nuclear deterrent, for example?
They manage the nuclear. They supply the nuclear deterrent for this country.
Since 1964.
They operate all our prisons.
They operate all the
They
air
operate
traffic
all our
control.
security.
Serco, we don't know even who owns it. You know.
We're
The
very
thing is, it's like when you register something. The word register means to hand over title ownership of whatever you're registering to whoever you're registering to. So, for example, you get a car. Now, when you buy your car, you think it's yours. You know that. There you go. So you're the registered keeper. They're allowing you to drive it. You've got to put their petrol in. You've got to have their MOT, and you've got to have all the stuff they say. You deregister it. That's what I did. Quite lawfully. I deregistered it, and I drove around in it for about a month before it was stolen from me, basically. And it's been going from there, really.
You could just bang home.
Well, I asked them about if they knew about the Cestui V Trust, the Cestui V Act of 1666, which is an extraordinary act, which, as far as I understand it, because it's written in Old English and it's legalese Old English, and but it basically says to me that if you're born and you don't tell the Parliament or government or whoever it is, whichever company is running the show, that you are living, actually alive on this planet, by the time you're 7 years old, you will be classed as deceased. And your estate will then go to
The Treasury.
right. Now, your birth certificate, it's not yours, it says Crown Copyright. And it also says on it, in big red letters on mine, this can't be used for identity purposes. Everything comes from that. Everything.
That's true.
Your passport, so that can't be used for identity purposes. Identity, what does it mean? It means to be the same as. Are you the same as a piece of paper?
Very important was Max was not, common law is not maritime law.
Well, I've been through that.
Yeah, so that's an important thing actually, because we are all ruled by maritime law in this country. That's why they can do what they do. When people stand up and say, sorry, I'm
the
not
law of
on
the sea.
maritime law, I'm on land, the maritime law cannot impose its jurisdiction on you.
But they try, damn it.
Well, that's what we're doing, we're trying to stop them. We're trying to stop them from using maritime law, and you think, hang on, we live on the land.
Remember Robin Hood?
Yeah. There's a lot going on here. You're talking to people who are trying to save what's left of what's good.
It's a life or not a life.
Yeah. Great. Great. Yeah.
Well, you're a human being, my dear. But without, I didn't mean that to sound.
No, you're not patronising, I hope.
And though you might think you're not looking too good today, I think you look great. Do you know if there are many? No.
That's a bad question. I shouldn't ask you about Freemasons in the Herald.
Strike that.
Well, no, the Herald did do an article on Freemasonry.
Yeah, but
It did quite a big article. There are 9 we found out so far, haven't we? Yeah. And this is what we think. This doesn't need to go in there, but we do feel that possibly because of our.
I stood up in front of the mayor the other day.
Yeah.
I asked them there, right, the most fundamental democratic question there is. Simple. Are you governing by consent? I asked the entire council.
They're all there.
They're all there. And there was,
4 times, yeah.
excuse my language, sketch. And they, the way they treated me was as not a member of the public, because the word public means owned by the government.
Yeah.
So if you say I'm a member of the public,
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm a private. I'm a private living being, like everybody else is really.
We just didn't get educated in law, so we don't know these things. So we
And
fell
I'm
into the
just
trap
beginning to
easily
think,
when we were young.
we've been trapped into a system. I mean, a system. You know, the word system comes from the Romans. They used it to describe a toilet.
Yeah.
Okay. And oh, you'll like this. The Romans described their system of law by the word bollocks. Serious. B-O-L-L-O-X. And it means to set into confusion. You know, words have been used. You know, they say the pen is mightier than the sword. Well, words have been used to confuse everybody, to give up everything. And if you only have to take the S off the back and put it at the front, you've got sword. You know, it's the same. It's all part of the same doubt. We're peaceful. We don't want any violence at all. Rather than people going out on the street protesting, I'd rather people wrote a letter saying, "I do not consent." Finished.
That would be great if you could get that. I know it's asking an awful lot of you. You know, one of our main things that we are trying to do is stop them ruining the prom. Building 2 lobster mats, which you must know about by now. Well, we've been trying to do that. There's people today, I've signed another petition. 2,300 people signed that petition. And it was handed in, that was at this meeting the other day, the cabinet meeting, it was mentioned. And Mr. Parrick, Steve Parrick of the TDA, turned around and said, oh, 2,300, and I don't know if Alex mentioned this in his report, I don't think he did. 2,300 people, petition is not enough. You need 20,000 people for a size town of Torquay size town. And you're thinking, where does he come from?
Who are you?
Jack,
Making the rules up as he goes.
What I'm saying is, people sat stum and let him say this. As if he's got the authority to say.
He's not an elected man. He's
Yeah.
not put. He's an officer.
We're scared to death of
Who
this
are these
corporation.
people?
No, to get.
So I asked the magistrates, "Who are you working for today?" Basically, who are you working for today? And they would not answer.
It's not the people.
They won't answer that because whose courts are they? Not the people's today. It's not the people's court. You know, you've got the Queen's thing up there, but
Did you,
What,
are
have you
you
seen
aware
about
of what
Birkenhead?
happened in Birkenhead? I was just about to say the same thing.
yeah, Birkenhead a week ago.
You heard about that?
Last Monday. Was it last Monday?
A county court judge was arrested and the court was seized
By 600 people.
by 600 people in Birkenhead.
And the police.
There's a film of it on our channel.
TTTV. Talkie TV on YouTube.
We were lucky enough to be there to witness it.
Yeah, a judge was asked. He was
He was
read
arrested for contempt of court and treason.
He was read something that came out of the House of Lords in 1974. I think Lord Diplock said it, and it's basically these are the conditions that you can get to before it's not lawful. And it got to the point where he read the judge these 3 things, and then he said, "Are you on your oath, sir? Are you on your oath, sir? Are you on your oath, sir?"
3 times.
3 times. That's enough. It's the Freemason thing, I divorce thee, I divorce thee, I divorce thee. It's all codified. It's all. I mean, I was put in the prison the other night, and they said, "Oh, all our stuff's in the book." So I looked at this book, and it's the Police and Criminal Evidence Act, 1984. It wasn't the act; it was the codes. And when I think codes, I think, well, if there's a code, I need to decipher it. So I need another book. But the police don't know about that. I mean, the police, God bless them. I've got nothing against the police. All I want is them to do what their oath says they're going to do. Nothing more, nothing less. And all of them that I've met in this town, all of them, without exception, have stepped off their oath. Every time I've come into contact with them, every time, because I don't play with policemen. I say, "Are you on your oath today, sir?" That's the first thing I ask. "Are you a true and honourable constable?" That's the first thing I ask a policeman. And they have to answer yes, because if they don't, they're not policemen. They're impersonating policemen. That's the law. That's how they work it. When we do it, they don't like it. They don't like it because people power. Can you imagine such a thing? We all have our own power, and by signing this bloody form, the electoral form, all we're doing is saying, you can have all my power.
People don't realise what they're signing.
They have no idea. The signature, your signature is the most important thing in your life. They never teach you that. They teach you how to write it, and they teach you how to spell. We are. If you do mention us, please mention us of the Cam family, please.
Yeah.
The correct way of writing it is the name followed by a colon, followed by of the whatever family.
James ... James colon.
That doesn't then connect you to your person, your straw man.
Do you understand the straw man thing?
It's all small. It must all be small case as well. No capitals at all. Capitalisation was brought in by the Romans to indicate your level of slavery.
That's right.
The more capitals they had in your name, the less freedom you had.
Bigger the.
It's still the same.
That's why when you get your gas bill, it's all capitals. When you look at a gravestone, most of them are all capitals. Deceased since you were 7 years old. They all know about the situation.
Yeah.
I've also notified them of the treason that's going on, and they should do something about it. They all know, and that's my phone. Can we take 5?
Yeah, no worries.
Well, fancy that, the alley cat was just about to jump into our dustbin when along we came down the lane, frightened him away, he's gone a-running. He thinks there's tasty scraps to be had from celebration here last evening, but all he'll find is empty cups and bottles left over from the drinking. Well, glory be, the family tree has given us a bumper crop this autumn. Now we'll stay warm, fit and healthy through the cold till the brand new buds come. We have so much in hand, we'll have to give the surplus to the neighbours. So many hands, we understand, the proverb says, makes light of our labour.